understand. We understand. We'll be.
No, that I understand, I think you're correct, because, in my opinion, it's in my budget, and I should be able to pay
Okay.
when
Everybody turn your microphones on when you get
everything's
started.
closed.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and call this meeting to order, this Policy and Procedures Committee meeting on Thursday, May the 22nd, 5 o'clock, in conference room number 1. Meeting's called to order, and when you take the roll, everybody is present. And that is done. So I need a motion to approve the agenda, and we have some modifications that we're gonna do. Number 6, 5 will be the notification of agenda to commission meetings. We have to add that in. We'll finish that up tonight. We have that redone. Number 7.2 will be the government policy record destruction, tampering, and fabrication. And I think, is that it? Jenny, do you have something did you want to add?
I was working on something, but I don't have it ready, so
Then just wait.
I will get with you maybe for the next one,
Okay,
to add it
Okay.
for discussion.
all right.
Yeah.
Anything else we need to add?
You don't happen to have an extra pen, do you? Mine was writing.
Here you go.
It quit.
I've got several.
Thank you.
So I need a motion to approve the agenda as modified.
Motion to accept the amended agenda.
Motion made by
I'll
Ms.
second.
Jones and seconded by Dwight. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved. And we don't have any public comments, so let's move on to the approval of the previous minutes. I've read them, and I just need to have a motion to approve them. Or
Motion
modify.
to approve?
Got a motion by Ms. Jones,
I'll second it.
seconded by Andy. Any discussion on it? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. By the way, they're very good at minutes, by the way. Okay, unfinished business, let's move on to it. Discussion of employee leave accrual, we're gonna get this off the table tonight. With all department heads, we've gotten all the feedback I think we're gonna receive. And our determination is, I'm gonna let Andy go ahead and give you what his determination needs to be, and then we can go from there. And I would assume you wanna try to make that as into a motion too, Andy, I guess. We need to
Yeah,
do
after
that.
the last meeting, what we were trying to do was create a, increase in vacation time after year 2, going into year 3 to try to help with some of the turnover. But with the way it is set up, because no one wants to change the beginning, starting, what do you call it, accrual. And year 5 is so close together, the only way to do it is to revamp the whole thing. And it, listening to everybody, I just don't think at this time it's a good thing to do. Heather did come back with some numbers for, currently we have 306 full-time employees. Of those, 137 have been employed 5 years or more. So less than half stay for 5 years or more. So I think it's a good idea to look at, but when you're talking about revamping for all 306, I think that's something that maybe look at a future date.
So we
So-
probably don't need a motion, do we?
Well,
Since we didn't do anything, except talk
probably
about it.
true,
Yeah, I think we just lay it on the table for now.
And just table it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's what we'll do then. Everybody agree with that?
Yes.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're all in agreement with it then. On the item number 6.2, the gun policy, was brought forth from the sheriff's department. He wanted to make sure that they were, because they were questioning about it. I met with CTAS, Steve Austin, who is the CTAS lawyer, the one that pretty well knows all the policies and stuff and all the laws on it. He gave me instructions that all we have to have is a sign posted out front whenever they have a jury, something going on, and our doors can be posted just as they are, so we can leave our signs up on the doors that we have. That's all the instructions we have to have, so the sheriff's department's gonna get that. I think Frank Watkins is gonna get that handled, and we'll get that, and they'll just have to post that outside that door whenever that happens,
During the meeting or?
during,
Yeah.
whenever court proceedings are
Okay.
going on. So it takes care of everything.
And that'll just say no guns.
No, yep. Yeah, he has,
during court hours or?
he has during any of the proceedings. If it's posted out there, that means there's no guns coming in that door.
And basically, all a grand jury
Yep.
is pretty much your law enforcement and your grand jury, and then, the DA.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think they're talking about when they're holding court,
whenever they're holding court in here.
yeah.
To,
In the-
anything that they
I
do,
got you, when
anything
they,
they do.
the civil, yeah,
Yeah.
they do the civil matters
Yep.
here, yeah.
So that's all we have to do on it, so that item is off of our agenda from now on. So let's move on to 6.3, which is sick leave policy and revisions. And Heather's got that for us.
I'm gonna hand out the current and the revision. This is probably something you all wanna take with you and read over, cause it's quite a bit of change.
Okay.
Sick leave policies addition to the sick leave policy.
Current and revision, here you go. Give me one more, then. Have you got one more?
Current and
No,
revision.
you got a current and a
Current
revision.
and
Oh.
revision.
You didn't get the revision?
You get two.
She needs a revision.
Here's a revision.
Thank you, sir.
You need a revision?
Yes, ma'am. There you go.
What you got, Des?
Everybody got a current and a revision?
You want the current?
Yes, sir.
Current
And
Okay.
revision,
and revision.
Okay.
so this is just something we're gonna take with us.
Yeah, you just need to take it home and just
Okay.
look at the changes.
And discuss it next meeting. Okay.
Okay, and we'll have this on as
I've
old
added
business.
quite a bit to it, so.
Okay, yeah, I see. All right, so everybody take that with you and look that over before our next meeting so we can make some decisions on it and get it cleared up. That's what we need to do, right? Okay. So let's go to item number 6.4, administrative closing policy. That one comes up a lot.
Yeah, I feel like we've had that one more
How many
than.
times have we done it? Have we not got that thing right yet?
No.
Is it our fault?
And on the back, I did, this is the shifts for the sheriff department. I think that was a question on
Oh, yeah.
one of the main questions we had last time.
Thank you.
Bad sheriff's department thing.
We were afraid that we wouldn't, somebody may not get their 8 hours, or however many hours you all decide.
Current,
Okay,
yeah, okay,
Current and then-
thank you.
okay. Has everybody got one?
Here we go, Mayor.
Okay.
You want us to do the same thing with
Same
this too?
thing.
Yeah,
Okay. So we have homework.
you have homework.
A dog.
So is this other one, is one for you guys to be considering as a revision, but you haven't adopted it
No.
yet?
No.
And that's what the lady was commenting on. Okay.
And I also had a note here, on the new revision, if we need to possibly add, cause I know we discussed the administrative closings, the administrative offices are open from 8 to 4:30. If we needed to put that time frame in the policy, if those are the hours, the administrative closing is in effect
I
for the
think,
day.
I think that would be more clear,
Yeah, I think it needs to be on there, don't you?
yeah.
That's what we talked about.
Yeah, we did,
I
yeah, we had
think
talked
that
about that several
would-
times.
We all
And
agree.
because
Yeah.
otherwise, it's gonna be another question every time.
Yeah.
Who's getting it and who's not?
So you need to figure out where we
That's
stick
a,
that
that's
in.
it makes it more,
So you all-
detailed,
yeah,
defined.
You all can just review and then just we can,
But is there any
Discuss next time.
offices that, like the library, that's open later that we need to specify their time? Because they have public coming in and out.
I mean, the times will have to be, probably I think need to be in there, for sure.
Okay. So the library has different times
Yeah.
that you're open?
Yeah.
Okay.
Would it
Okay.
be maybe easier to say, if your shift occurs, and we talked about this in the past, I think, anywhere in that time, you're gonna get it. And that's why the reason between, what was it, whatever time, 8 to
8 to
4:30 or
4:30.
whatever, any time in there, your shift hits in there, you're gonna get it for the
That
whole
might be the
shift.
easier.
Yeah.
That might be
Yeah,
easier.
because you're gonna leave somebody out, probably. We're doing
Because
the
somebody's shift
library
is gonna
now, and
start
next
at-
time it'll be,
yeah.
who do we not think
Yeah, we
about?
discussed, 911 last time, and there's 3 shifts there. You know, we have 7 to 3, 3 to 11, and 11 to 7. So they were questioning if they would get it. If they got off at 7, that next morning, we started at 8 o'clock, then would they get it?
Well, is that not gonna be much like the sheriff's department or whatever? You're really not gonna get it off anyway, you're gonna be working.
Well, the comp said, well, the ones that work the shift, they'll get off that morning at 7. If we made it from 8 to 4:30, that morning, they get off at 7. The ones
Aren't
that
they
work
gonna have
from
to
11
show
to
up
7.
anyway?
They'll get off, they'll show up at 11 o'clock the night prior, and they'll get off at 7 o'clock that next morning before,
Before
They-
the
Before
They
8
the
get-
o'clock.
closure.
They
yeah.
get 8 hours extra pay,
Yeah.
yes.
not 8 hours for not coming to work, like
Right.
the
Yeah.
It's like,
administrative.
it's like a
Because,
holiday.
well,
Yeah.
there, yeah, and their
Yeah.
shift
8
has
hours.
ended,
Basically what
so
you're talking
I,
about.
Right.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
so I
like
say
the
it's,
sheriff
if
department.
somebody's gotta work anyway, it's like a holiday.
Yes.
But their shift is ending when,
Yeah, if we
Um,
said 8 to 4:30, their shift ends at 7. The third shift ends at 7. Cause they went in at 11 o'clock the night prior and got off at 7 the next morning.
So if it started at 8 AM and it lasted for 2 days, that second day would be included, but
yes,
not
right,
the first day.
right,
But the first day
Yeah.
would
yeah.
not.
So
I-
I don't know how we write that out.
I don't know.
It's hard to cover everything.
Why don't we just say full-time people? I mean, you're not gonna give it to the part-time people anyway, so just say full-time employees. Or if you work an 8-hour, if you were scheduled an 8-hour shift that day, cause we have an 11:45 to 8:15 shift.
Okay, yeah,
Say, word it somehow, if you are scheduled on the day of the administrative closing.
right. You get your full shift
Yeah.
And I
hours.
think that's kinda how I have it wrote in there anyway.
It
Yeah,
covers your shift that is
Yeah,
on
I
that
don't-
day, but
yeah,
I think it
so-
does get a little hairy when your shift has ended. So I
Yes.
feel like that would be excluded, and then if they're off
Yeah,
the
'cause you
next
have,
day.
you have it on there, the shift must
Yeah.
begin on the day of
Yeah.
administrative closing in effect, okay. Yeah, it's kinda in there already.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
then you have to explain that.
Oh, no. Okay, homework,
I'll think about that
work
too.
on that,
Yeah, you'll think about that for me.
work on that, cause you got a lot of people.
I
in
got a
here
lot I'm thinking
that's
about.
Asking that same question. Okay, we're good?
I'll get in policy mode here. We'll jump from one. to
Let's
the
go ahead and go to 6.5. Let me tell you where, this is the one we had on our last agenda. Notification of the agenda and commission meetings time, where we send out our notifications. And we have that rewritten now, so everybody can have one. Val, there's yours.
Oh, thank you.
I've got it.
We have one.
Same?
Got two of them now.
Yeah. Anybody
got-
missing one?
Is that-
Andy's
oh,
missing
oh,
one.
Oh, you're right. All right, give me one.
Pass both
Good, here we go.
sides.
We're good.
This is what we were changing to, which just meets, our codes now,
Well, it's worth noting this coincides and complies with TCA.
yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
So this is just a notice to commissioners. It's not the public.
Yes and no.
It should say
I should say public.
Well, it
should
does say.
This,
Yeah.
this is just rules of the commission.
It's rules of the
This is
commission.
not TCA for
Yeah.
posting
Yeah.
notices.
That's why I say it's really the commission.
This is just our rules that we have in ours, that's, before, when Judd tried to have it where it was
Says-
7 days.
days.
And we have stuff that comes in between
Yeah,
7 and the 5th day,
Sure. Yeah.
or the day of, and I'm not crazy about all that, but I try to.
See, our
fix-
old procedure said 5 days.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, he tried to change it to 7, and that was impossible, and he finally threw up his hands and
said
sent
no.
everybody a text.
Yeah, I remember that
message
one.
and said, we're gonna revert to TCA minimum, which is 48 hours.
Yep.
So good.
Well, it's one of those deals, if you can make it, you go.
There you go.
If you can't,
Well, this just deals with the agenda. This worth noting, and I've said this 100
Agenda
times
only.
because I got it straight from the comptroller's office. There is no minimum requirement for meeting notices. The courts have ruled on this that 24 hours is not enough. So the, Tony Chadwick, the public records attorney for the comptroller's office, says, so if you go by court, you could do 25 hours and be okay if you go by case law for meeting notices. But the agendas are specific, 48 hours. It's in TCA. But the meeting, the notice of a public meeting, there's no minimum requirement in TCA. So we're doing both, 48 hours for meeting and agenda.
Well,
is
that
what-
makes, that's reasonable.
I
That makes-
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so everybody sees the rule change, right?
Come back.
It's for section G,
Yes.
so we're just gonna have to, we
what
need
about
to,
if we decided, besides just the agenda, what if you're gonna cancel one? If you gotta do it 48 hours before?
The cancellation of a meeting, I don't.
There's no
think it-
policy that I
yeah.
know
No.
of.
Well,
There's
I
no-
mean, I think,
That
like
happens.
if you have bad weather.
you can
or-
actually,
yeah.
you can cancel a meeting the day of the meeting, actually, when everybody's here. If you don't have a quorum, you're canceled.
Well, you are, yeah.
So, that's
kinda-
why they leave that wide open.
Yeah, it's kinda hard to determine, I
Yeah.
would say.
Okay, so we need to, I guess we need an agenda, we need to either send, we need a motion to send this on, don't we?
To legislate.
We can either have 2 commissioners sign it and, send it to the full commission to have it added to the to the county commission.
I'll make a motion.
Or we can send it legislative, however you want to do it. You got a motion, Ms. Jenny, what?
So
Yeah.
let me ask that,
Okay, go ahead.
before we do that, talking about legislative, one way or the other? Is that what you said?
We can either send it to the legislative committee and let them do what they want to with it, or we can have 2 commissioners sign it and
And not
sponsor
have
it
to go-
and not even have to go through there, because it's just the,
Has this been a issue for commissioners or?
It has been for a few,
Okay,
deciding who's in charge of what,
okay.
basically.
But not
I've been trying to
not
figure it out.
necessarily with getting notification of the meetings, like,
No,
that's not, that's
no.
not,
I'm
I
just talking
mean,
about
that's the whole reason behind it.
The
but
difference
there's-
between legislative and policy is
Okay,
the two committees sometimes
Protocol.
wanna take charge.
gotcha.
And when sometimes it's basically the same issue, it's gonna go to the full commission anyway, so. You don't have to have so many meetings. We have had to delay for a whole month because one of them says, we didn't get notice.
Well, things change, and, I mean, and then it does take a lot of, in my opinion, it does take a lot of, you send an agenda out 7 days, and then you have to turn around and amend it, and then maybe you have to turn around and amend it again, and then when you get to the meeting, there'd be something else. It would take a lot of that out of it. I don't know, I haven't really given it much thought. It
I think
being an
it's
issue,
safe,
yeah.
it's safe sending it straight to the commission.
I think we
I
ought
would
to.
make that
This
motion
one.
unless Jenny's gonna do
Oh,
that.
yeah, whatever, however y'all wanna do it,
I don't know, we need to duplicate so many things.
yeah,
With the way this is simple wording.
It is.
sure.
I mean, it's.
And it's something we're supposed to be doing anyway.
Yeah, and it's just, it fixes an issue with what we have in our book
It's just
right now.
cleaning it up.
So, you wanna make the motion to send it on, sponsored and send it on to the full
Yes,
commission?
I'll make that motion that, we go to the full commission to make this adjusted, make sure it's 48-hour notice on agendas.
I'll second that.
Got a motion by Dwight Miller and seconded by Ms. Anthony to send this on to the full commission. We'll need two
Outside.
commissioners to sign it, and Dwight will sign,
Sign it.
and Ms. Jones will sign it, so we can
Happy to.
have two sponsors, and I will actually sign it as a chairman of the committee, and then I'll have three sponsors.
There you go.
So we'll just go ahead and send it on to the full commission. And that should go on their agenda for their next meeting. Okay, any more discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion approved. And, finish that up. So our next thing on our agenda is, new business, and we have the revision of the Coffee County Government Citizen Participation Form position. Laura has this in her computer. She sent this, she printed this out for us. So if she has this in her printer, or in her computer, we need her to send this to Heather. And Heather will do the fix on this, because what the commissioners.
Is that the existing?
This is the existing one. That's in, she just printed this off for me tonight. What was passed along from the commissioners last week was that, or our last full commission meeting, was there was no position on here what people were applying for. It doesn't say what position they're applying for. And it can be fixed real easy on that top line. If we can get Laura to send Heather that, what she has in her computer.
Okay, has this committee, approved changing this document?
We're fixing, that's what we're gonna discuss
What
right
we're
now.
doing.
That's why it's on our agenda. Cause I was asked to put it on there, so we stuck it on.
All right, there's a correction needs to be, this last paragraph before the blank spot says, please visit our website for a list of standing committees and list your choices here. Okay, citizens, non-commissioners are not members of standing committees. Standing committees are made up of commissioners only. Correct me if I'm wrong. Okay, so this sheet should not mention standing committees at all. Standing committees are appointments among the body. The mayor makes standing committee appointments, and then the body confirms.
Yes.
So, that language needs to be removed, and I feel like we don't need to have positions listed, we just need one blank line or two, and let them write in what
Right.
their interest
That's
are.
all I
Yes,
was
that's
asking.
Because there's so many committees, it would take 3 sheets of
Okay.
paper.
I'd just like to know they really applied for this, not, I'll take anything you got.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Do we want to have a line that says applying for, position applying for? Or,
That, yes.
because just something,
Applying for, not
yeah,
committee.
yeah, there you go, a position applying for.
So,
Well, I mean, we already have
But we need-
the language.
Yeah, the lines, oh, yeah, we have a line, we just don't have language for it.
List your choices here.
Yeah.
Choice, or S in parentheses, choices here. So.
We need to take out that second
take
paragraph?
out the word standing committee and say, please visit our website for a list of committees. Take the word standing out and list your choices here. That's what I think it should be. Do you have a copy? Dale?
Yeah, she's,
But we
Everybody's-
passed it earlier.
somebody's got, most everybody has one.
Okay, as long as you got a copy.
And the reason this came up is because of the Board of Zoning Appeals. Those two people had filled that out, and everybody's going.
And we all looked at it, we didn't know what they were running
What are they
for.
applying for? That's how it even came up, so they were.
Except you
both-
had it on the agenda for what they were applying for.
Right,
That's, and we
They
discussed
made
it.
They made that, statement to me in the office as far as what they wanted to
Yeah.
do, so.
so I'll make a motion that in the third paragraph, we strike the word standing and just have it read, please visit our website with the link for a list of committees, period. And then make a space there where that long line is, and underneath it, put committee or
Please list the committee you are applying for, or whatever.
something that.
Position.
Yeah, committee or position applying for, underneath that line.
But would that be
What
a
about,
decision?
it says, and list your choices here, that's not good enough, you want it more
Well,
technical?
I just think y'all are having a problem with anybody listing them there because they don't see it.
I think
So
that's the
I think
problem.
if it's
They don't
underneath
really
here,
notice it.
They will see it and write.
They'll know to put
the
something
committee or
down.
board they're
Just
applying
right
for.
here, like this right here.
Yeah. You can just give them the link to the committees.
It might make a difference on whatever committee, whether you think they're qualified or not, whether you want to vote for them or not.
Is that good?
So,
correct.
read, tell me what your motion is again now, because we don't have a second for it yet,
In the third paragraph,
okay?
please visit our website with the link for a list of committees, period. And then open that space up, and underneath that long line, just put committee or board. Just put committee you're applying for underneath it. Because they could be applying for just
A board, like you said. Mhm.
the BZA.
Put committee/board applying for.
That'll
All
work.
right, we have committees, commissions, and boards.
Yeah,
Put all
Committees,
three of 'em in.
committees, commissions,
Slash,
and boards.
slash,
Those
slash.
three. And people can apply for either
Authority
one
is
of
whatever.
those.
If I'm not mistaken, there probably is an authority that would be, so you probably need to list all 4 words. Commission, committees, boards, authorities.
Committee, board, commission.
yeah,
board.
because you have the,
Slash,
Solid
slash,
Waste Authority.
slash.
Committee,
Yeah, that
board,
makes sense.
commission, authority. Okay,
you got that?
got it.
And that doesn't have to be double spaced, you know, there's 3 paragraphs, I don't know why you couldn't just have 1 paragraph so we can stay on the 8.5 by 11 letter sheet and have room for that.
And if you're gonna have to put all that, it would probably, like Dennis started saying, it would probably be better at the end of the paragraph, list below or something.
So Heather, you gonna get with Laura to fix that? So we have a motion
I'll
made,
make the second motion.
and we have it seconded. And any more discussion on it? All in favor, say aye.
Uh-huh.
All right. You gonna bring that back to us on our next meeting, so that way we can look at it over and then send it on? Okay, good. And that is take care of that. And then the new item is, on new business is 7.2, and our government policy record destruction, tampering and fabrication. We have some language in that has to be fixed, and she's gonna do a handout on
We
it.
kept you busy.
Got it. Okay, so, the front sheet of the packet is the current, the way that the current policy's reading. It says, that it's B, a violation of this section is a Class A misdemeanor. Actually, in 2019, it was, revised. And the TCA code now states that a violation of this section is a Class E felony.
E. So we just need to make that change.
Yes.
Okay?
That's an acknowledgement form that all county
They have to sign.
employees have to sign.
Yeah, this is, and
It's part
everyone
of the
will have to
personnel
re-sign
manual.
this.
Yes.
Every one of the county employees has to re-sign this to go in their personnel file.
Okay, this is back to
Excellent.
legislative.
Yes.
Does it make a difference?
This is a TCA thing.
Yeah, this
I
is
mean,
not,
Legislative committee can't change a word of these.
Well,
No, but they
Tennessee
probably
code
should be
down.
included.
I mean, I think it
I mean,
needs
I
to be
think it's-
corrected, but it's not,
think
I mean,
it's
if they
good
violate that
etiquette.
law, they're still getting charged
Yeah,
with
they're
a
gonna
Class
do
C
it, but-
felony, but they,
Yeah.
I think
Probably.
they
what we
need to
were
sign it to
hearing
understand that,
though
yeah.
from legislative saying, y'all just left us out.
Yeah, I think we
Oh.
should
You
send it
can't,
to them.
vote on the next thing, cause it didn't
Just
come
as-
through us.
Send
As
it
far
to
as the process of
Yes,
procedure of
that's it.
the committees, yeah.
It's good
That's
etiquette.
usually the case.
Well, sure,
lately,
I mean, I
because
think-
the two of them
Yeah.
get involved in everything.
so we need to send this to legislative committee?
So,
Well,
Huh?
That's
that-
what I was asking.
think so.
Is it
Okay.
one
Yeah.
of those deals?
I think
Yep,
so.
we
It
can.
just-
If I may,
It's good etiquette.
legislative is to review the language of resolutions when there's a question about whether it's being presented properly or not. This is TCA.
This is
language.
just cleaning up.
It's just
Could you
a
not
change.
just do
The
like a
law changed.
notification to legislative of the change, since they won't be changing any of the language? That way they're aware of
I
it, that
think-
way if it's brought
I
up,
think
that,
our
I just don't think
chairman
it's a big
should
deal
meet
to
with
send
the
it to legislative. Like you said, it's
chairman and work it out.
TCA.
I
They're
can
not
do
gonna
that.
do it.
It's
I
not-
just think
just-
it's
Cause I
good
can do that,
etiquette
because I know
for
that
a
guy.
fella.
just
I
to
mean-
be a part of the.
I'm
Yes.
on that committee.
I know that guy.
I do. Yeah, and we had representation, so I think it's a good idea.
Yeah. Just out of normal procedure.
Yes.
I have no thought of, whatever y'all.
I think the conversation needs to be had.
Well, it can go in the agenda basically saying, policy's already reviewed it and we have no problem.
Now, I'm saying, I think
I know what you're doing.
there's
I'm talking
so
about-
much question about
Who's in
what
charge of what?
legislative is expecting or not expecting. Terry and their chairman just has a conversation. What are y'all expecting? What are you not? So we
Some
just have it
clear,
out
like,
there.
it's some clear verbiage of their expectations when things like, in the future, when things like this come up. for
And
sure.
I don't
Yeah,
think this is an item that we have to worry about it being held off for, you know,
It
a
is.
month.
It shouldn't be.
It
Because
You
it's-
shouldn't
not
have
an
to,
issue.
We don't have a choice.
It's not
you
really
shouldn't
a
have to
big
spin your
issue.
wheels
Yeah, we
on-
want to spend it
there's-
long.
It's the law.
Yeah, it's the law, yeah.
That's it.
We ain't adopting law, this is.
We're not adopting
fixing-
anything.
We're fixing our own paperwork, is what we're
We're just
fixing.
cleaning up.
I think they should either be notified,
Yeah, I
or
will.
that it should be on their agenda to be discussed and them to pass it on if that makes
agree.
them happy. I
Yeah.
just,
I'm gonna just go ahead and send it to
Well,
them.
the easy
Yes, I
thing would
think it's
be
the thing
Okay.
just
to do.
make a,
It's of no
in the minutes,
consequence.
say,
sure.
this came through policy and procedures, and we're going right on through with it to the full commission.
I'm sending it to them. I think that's what we ought to do.
Are we going to send it to the full commission, or are we leaving it to legislative?
No, man, that's always been our issue, hasn't it?
That's
Yeah,
the
that's what I was
conversation,
talking
Terry.
about.
I'm gonna have that conversation with
That's where
them,
it
because that's why
stops.
we fixed this one form for us to send, every time we had a document that we sent to legislative committee, it died there.
Yeah,
Well, and you know, I think.
Some of them died there, some of them came back to
A
us.
lot of it like this is simple.
Yeah.
It can be voted on by full commission. They're not gonna be making any decisions on it. So that's why it
Yeah.
skips them, just to help with the processes, not sitting there waiting.
Yeah.
I get that, but then if they if they need to be notified, or if they just go with for now, I mean, if you want this to move on, then go with the procedures and then maybe have that discussion.
it'd be a good way to clean it up.
Yeah.
Because we've had it happen in the commission meeting, legislative stand up and
Maybe
say,
put this on their
y'all
agenda.
didn't send it through
But
us,
there
we
are-
want it held up.
Maybe put this on their agenda and then bring up the
That's what I said.
discussion. Yeah, I think
And
that's,
just say, policy and procedures reviewed this, we have no problem.
sure.
What are you gonna do
And
if you
do
have a
it.
problem?
Well, they're not gonna do anything.
It's not
It's
gonna
for
matter.
their
It's still
edification.
gonna go
They
to
can't do
full
it.
It's
commission.
only for their
It's a
edification.
Tennessee law.
And
Yeah,
Terry, you're
I'm-
gonna be
I'm
talking
just
to
talking about
them.
anything.
Yeah.
So it's
I'm
not
gonna
a
probably
big
just come to
deal.
y'all's next meeting,
It's nothing, yeah.
so I can sit down with you and go over that with y'all. It'll make it a whole lot simpler. So that way it'll go on through.
So why don't we
Yes, it's
do
gotta
it
be
in
done.
about 5 minutes?
You don't have legislative committee, you need to
Who
do.
is it with me? Oh, it's health and welfare,
Sorry.
yeah,
You on
Okay.
that one?
yes.
All right, that's all we have. I'm just gonna go ahead and take and I'll go ahead and bring that to the legislative committee myself.
Good.
Okay, so you don't
That'd
have to
be the
worry about it.
easiest way.
Be the easiest way to take care of it.
And
That gives them on
I think
notice.
the
And then
chairman
if they wanna,
will say fine.
If
yeah,
some-
cause that's all he's gonna do.
But like Heather
course
said,
they
that
will.
this needs to be done so she can get it in the policy.
Yeah.
If
Yes.
they do not meet in June, two commissioners could take it on to that second meeting in June to get on there.
Exactly.
Correct,
Yeah.
And I don't think we'll have a problem with us doing that.
Right.
correct.
So,
Agree. We're all in
did
agreement.
we already vote on it?
We're all in
No,
agreement.
we have not voted on it yet. We haven't had a motion really yet to do that, but we can do that. You make a motion, did I carry it to the legislative committee? I can do that. I'll do that if you wanna make that motion.
I'll make that motion.
Got a motion made for me
Not
to
only
carry
do
it
we
to
carry it,
legislative
but we
committee?
approve it,
Well,
change
we
it.
need to approve it. We need to approve it right now.
right, that's
Our
what I'm
part.
saying.
We're-
Approve it
We're actually approving it anyway, right, with what we're doing.
and
So all we're doing
notify
is taking it to them.
legislative what we did.
Okay.
I'll second it.
We have a second. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. So that is all of our new business, and we need to set our next meeting date, which is scheduled for June the 16th at 5 o'clock. Andy cannot be here.
Don't move it.
We'll carry
I'm
Does
just-
everybody think they'll be able to be here on that one?
Sure.
June the 16th?
The fifth?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
June 5th,
No, the 16th.
16th, oh, okay.
I have a doctor's
Absolutely.
appointment, but I can change that.
Yeah, I can make it.
All right, let's just keep it there, and, you know,
16th.
I don't know that it's gonna be that big of one until we get some of these she's gonna have something new. We'll have
We'll
some
have three
cleanup
issues
stuff.
coming back
Yeah,
up.
we have three coming back up, so
We've been
we'll just fix them.
I may have a
Time.
couple different things.
That's
but-
fine, not a problem. We'll take care of them then. Okay, next meeting is set. And I just need a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Motion to
make that
adjourn.
motion.
Motion made and seconded.
I'll second it.
Seconded. Anybody discussion?
Dwight.
I did.
Dwight did, and seconded by Miss Anthony. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion approved, done.
Now I'll make my next meeting.
They coming in here?
They went in the other room already, it looks like.